Good morning. Here we are. We are ready for day 5 to wrap this thing up. Morning, Ann. How are you?
Good morning. Happy Friday Fun Day. That's what I call it every morning or
Happy
every
Friday
Friday
Fun
with my
Day.
kids.
Yeah, Friday Fun Day.
Yeah.
That is pretty much true. Friday's date night. Every Friday, I take the girls out for ice cream. Like, no phones, no nothing, just me and the girls. It's like
That's
date night.
cool. If I don't say it in the morning, man, my second one, she's like, "You didn't say Happy Friday Fun Day." She's getting up. If I don't say it, man, it is like an expectation for those kids.
Right?
So,
Come on, you didn't start the day off right. Well, let's start the day off right. Happy Friday Fun Day. Welcome to day 5. Today
morning,
we're going to
Paula.
go through and recap what we got for the week and then kind of set the stage, if you will, for how to take this on. And then John's going to join us in about 10 minutes ish or so. Last I talked to him, he was finishing up at the gym in the morning, this morning, kicking the day off right. So John's going to come in and he's going to talk to us about like the lending side of real estate. A lot of people aren't sure what they need in place when they try to get funding. Even if you've done a few deals, a lot of people like don't really have their funding stuff in place where it's really like this is what the lender needs and I have it all ready to go and everything else. So he's just going to kind of give us that insider information, if you will, of like here's the checklist you need to have to make sure you get funding for your deals. So that'll be good because we've talked about if we jump back and a disclaimer, we have like allergies going nuts again this morning.
Yeah.
So around
I
we're
thought,
here in Branson, Missouri, and the weather is going like cold, hot, cold, snow, cold, hot, snow, and so it's going back and forth. But anyway, might be coughing a little more again today. But day 1, right? We focused on fast scalability this week, right? Foundation, automation, systems, and then traffic. If you don't have your foundation, your automation, your systems in place, then traffic will actually get your business in trouble, right? And so we want to make sure that as you're building out what you're doing, you've got those pieces in places for your traffic to come in. So day 1 was what do you do? Who do you serve? How are you doing it, right? We help flippers find that next flip. We're trying to find cash buyers, connect, get them deals, right? That's how you're making your first 100K. Automation and systems was creating that pipeline, right? That when a new lead comes in, then what, then what, then what? Create the pipeline, the process, how they move through your business from left to right, start to finish to make sure that everything gets hit, they get taken care of, and you never left wondering where your leads are, right? Then we taught you how to do systems. Take each stage of the pipeline and make a list for every single one. What do I want to happen at this stage? Write it down. What do I want to happen at this stage? Write it down. What do I need to do at this stage? Just going like that, boom, 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 through every piece of your business. This is how you create the systems and the automation that gets you ready for the traffic, right? And then yesterday, we showed you how to optimize out your Facebook profile and work the other groups to get leads coming to your profile and then coming into your funnel, which could be to a website, to your Facebook Messenger, to a phone call, whatever you wanted them to do, right? But we talked about that clear call to action. So now you know how to find free leads on Facebook, which means you don't have to go out and pull lists and skip trace and cold call and cold call and cold call and cold call and, and send tens of thousands of pieces of direct mail every month to try and get a few leads, right? You can interact with people on Facebook. They come through your profile. Now, the importance of the reason that I was teaching you this way is because you have W-2 jobs, you have families. A lot of us are doing this outside of everything else we have going on. And so if you're doing it outside of everything else you have going on, the only time you have to interact may be at 11 o'clock at night, right? Maybe at 10 o'clock at night after the kids and everybody's in bed and everything else, right? And so working Facebook leads makes it to where you can respond and talk to people and message people 24/7, 365, and nobody gets mad about it, right? We talked about what's the acceptable times to call somebody, text somebody. Remember, it's like, well, we don't want to bother them at work. We can't bother them during dinner time, and then it's too late. Remember, Facebook's 24/7. So
mhm.
That's the reason we focus this method. One, it's organic, it's free. You're not going to run out of money trying to get leads in, right? And you're not going to have the excuse of, well, I didn't have time because I was at work. It's like, no, you can do it in the middle of the night, right? So we're trying to create a business model that's sustainable. Okay. And I'm reiterating that part because that's the most important part of what we're building for you.
And just so I wanted everybody to know, I did get a question. Actually, I think it was Paula. I think she asked about, how many people have I had come through my Facebook over the past 2 years. I told her, I was like, probably would have been smart to keep track of that. But just so you know, I actually haven't put out my email in quite a while, just like Aaron. And I already got a Facebook message in from a wholesaler who asked, hey, if do you buy houses, and are you a cash buyer? And I told her, of course, I say I buy and sell properties. Actually, I do it in different ways. Wholesale is a strategy. I don't want you guys to get sidetracked on the other ones. And then she said, and I said, well, if it doesn't work for me, I might have a partner that would be more interested in it. She's like, heck yeah, let's JV on it. So just so you know, I already had a message come in yesterday. Literally, I just checked the time. It was like 12:25 p.m. Already having a wholesaler come in asking me to help her with a property. So
Yep. And I think we had a guy sign up for your first 100K program with us, and he had a JV and assigned a JV with somebody else within, I think, about a week and a half. So like he just worked the free method and boom, had somebody like ready to go on a deal. Which, if you're not familiar, like that's what we were telling you. Go to other groups, connect with other investors that have the deal under contract already. It's ready, like it's under contract. They can now assign that and make money. And he was able to find that person within a week of learning and got a signed JV, which means that person agreed to partner with him on a deal he already has under contract. And now he could have a few $1,000s in his pocket within a few weeks. Because if it's under contract, they only have 30 days to get it sold. So he can get it sold and be banking within 3 weeks of even learning the process, which is pretty cool to see how fast it can go, right?
Yeah.
And how fast that can turn around.
Yeah, I was going to say, trust me, they did all the work for you because there's a lot of work on the front end getting that property under contract. So,
yep, absolutely. So, I'm going to keep an eye on my messages here to make sure that John doesn't have any problems finding his way in because he'll be coming in soon. But what I want you guys to understand, like over that fast scalability, that foundation automation systems traffic, the whole point of what we're teaching you is because we want you to be able to do it long enough that you win. Remember, if I say go dump 10 grand into ads every week for the next year, you're going to run out of money before you start seeing deals a lot of the times, right? Especially if you don't have the systems in place to manage those leads as they come through. So are there ways that you can scale this and go faster? Absolutely. Just like we showed you the the traffic methods, and just like we've shown you a little bit of scalability and how that software can automate so much, right? That's how you scale and how you bring in more leads, having the proper systems and things in place, right? But with the traffic, the way that we've shown you with free methods, you can show up consistently every day. You can take 15 minutes at your break in the morning. You can take 15 minutes at your lunch, 15 minutes at your other break. And then you can go for an hour after 10 o'clock after the whole family's in bed. And you can just work Facebook and get leads coming to you. And if you do that every day, more and more people see your posts because your posts, your comments, your likes, your shares, that stuff stays in those groups forever. And so people find that 6 months down the road and they reach out to you and you've got deals coming in consistently. Like I haven't posted in so long and I still have deals coming in, right? And so that's the biggest takeaway I want you to understand. Have your pipeline in place, have what you're going to do in place at each stage, and then consistently show up and do the same things over and over and over every day, working that Facebook groups so that you're not running out of money and you're just building a consistent lead flow, right? And then that's how you build a business that is scalable. Because with the automations and systems we put in place, day 2 and 3, with like the scalability and things like that, you can have a virtual assistant come in and they work the same systems for you. And then they keep running your business exactly like you were running your business. And you come out of it, they take over those tasks, and then you figure out new ways to bring in new stuff. That's when you start moving into the ads. That's when you start partnering more and you start really taking it to that next level while they're handling kind of that busy work, right? This is how you create a scalable business. Everything has to be systems and processes so that anybody could do it for you at any time, right? Like, what happened if you're in a car accident? Can somebody step in and run your business for you? Like, that's what we're trying to build for you, okay? And a lot of people have a lot of things in place, but they're not really working. So with all of that said, that recap, that focus, right? We want you guys focusing on bringing your deals in and everything else. But I want to make sure that you have no excuses and no worry about whether you're ready to do it, right? Like, start doing it, start taking action, become a creator. This week, you've been working on your business, creating your pipeline and your systems. Now I want you to continue, right? Growing and building. And so John's going to share some stuff with us so that we can kind of get a handle on what that funding side of things looks like. And then we'll wrap up and we'll show you guys a little bit more of like how you can automate some things out, have some Q&A, and round out this awesome week of content. So give me just a second here. Looks like John's trying to work his way in. I saw him and then he just disappeared. As always, guys, if you're watching on the replays, for those of you who have been catching up, that's awesome. I love seeing the comments come in the interaction in the comments inside of the 5-day challenge group when it's like 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, oh, good. They're catching up. Perfect.
I was at 8. I was like, oh, I grabbed my phone at 8 and I was like, oh, and I was like, no. And then I put the phone down and I went back to sleep. I was like, I don't know what the heck my problem is. I do have my own, I have to respect my own time. So
I don't respect my time during challenge week. I always
I don't either.
I always check it throughout the whole day to make sure if people are asking questions, I'm getting them taken care of. All right, let's see. Morning, John. We'll see if we can hear him. We'll give him just a second because I saw the maybe you kind of came in funny. It put like your glasses on your chin and then locked up the picture.
I promise. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
A little bit spotty, like it's trying to catch up, but I can hear you.
Maybe I'll turn my video off.
But we want to see your pretty face. Are you sitting by the pool, or is that a virtual background?
The pool in Connecticut. Come on now.
You got a pool in Connecticut and it's warm?
Absolutely virtual. 100%.
Well, let's see. You're kind of scratching pretty good. I don't know if your signal's working too well out where you're sitting.
Try to.
It keeps locking up on you.
Okay.
There we go. Try talking a little bit.
Better?
See if we can hear you.
Better with the video off?
Possibly. It seems like I can hear you all right. We'll have to actually go back and. What's that?
I can hear him. Yeah.
Okay. We'll have to go back and forth a little bit and see if you're scratchy or cutting out. Morning, good. John. Morning, John. Welcome to the 5-day challenge.
Thank you for having me.
We'll leave a little lag time as you respond just in case because it's a little bit slow. But
yeah.
Tell us a little bit about you, John. Like, how did you – I know you have Starvox Capital, and we'll kind of introduce people to that during this time. But then when did you kind of start with this funding stuff? Like, tell us how you got into it and what you're doing right now.
Yeah, so my name is John Krause. I cut off for a second, so I didn't hear all that you wanted. I own and run. Are you there?
Yeah, but you're cutting in and out pretty good.
Give me 5 minutes. You guys talk amongst yourselves.
Okay. That'll work. We'll do that. We'll give him a chance to relocate, and then we'll see if that helps. Because yeah, that'll be a hard one to talk through if it keeps cutting out every few seconds. So John has Starvox Capital, and he focuses on. I know he's going to go into this a little bit more in detail, but I'll go ahead and share his site here so you can see his logo and stuff. This is Starvox Capital. They do short-term rentals, fix and flip, long-term rentals, apartments, basically like any kind of funding you need is what they handle. And they do a lot with real estate investors and everything else. So he's very familiar with the way the funding works, and he works with a lot of investors, stuff like that. So he's going to have some good information for us, I'm sure. And I know John personally, so just like everything else we do, I'm never going to refer something that I'm not using or somebody that I don't really know. Like, I'm just not a fan. This comes back to like day one and the way we do business and the way we operate. I am big on, if I'm referring somebody or talking to somebody, it's because I know them, I trust them, and I know they can do good. So I know John's going to have some good stuff. I've actually been up there with him in Connecticut. We've had a golf tournament fundraiser raising money for cancer for the Team John Foundation and things like that. So I have spent time with John. And I'm excited to see what he can kind of like give us that insider information. Ann, what do you think? You've got a lot of funding and a lot of different methods, right?
Yeah, I've actually talked with John myself and got some information from him. He was a little intrigued about one of my strategies that I use. So it's something that he said he would definitely have to look into and how it can work. So that was one thing that I got kind of intrigued him. So I'm pretty sure he's still looking into it. But the other stuff that he was talking about started making a lot more sense because I never really knew a lot about. That's why I never really got into fix and flips. It's like I never understood the lending side of things. And talking to more and more lenders, it's like getting a lot more easier to understand. So I know I have worked with. I have a guy in New York that I've worked with, but he does things differently. So everybody's different. So it just depends on who you're working with. And I'm the same way. I'm not going to like give people that I don't know very well or I haven't worked with kind of thing. So that's just where I'm at. But you gotta be careful. Like a lot of lenders can like with private lending is different than what John's actually going to explain because those are two different things. So I'm really excited to see what else he's got going on. And I'm like, there's going to be questions. I can't wait. I can help with some questions too. So to help make it easier. So
looks like he's trying to, there we go. We'll try to bring him back in again and see what happens with the signal here. It looks like you got a good signal. John, can you hear us now?
Fine. I hope you can hear me.
So far, we'll try this again. Go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little about what you're doing.
So I was trying to relocate. Starvox Capital. I've been somebody back in 2009 where we service an investor that's looking to hold or fix and flip commercial and business lending.
That was still pretty spotty.
Oh my Lord! I tell you,
fund fix and flip and commercial and people that are holding, right?
Is he on his phone or on the laptop? Which one are you on?
I'm on my phone.
I'm sure he'll work his way around. So you how long have you been doing mortgages and Starvox and things like that?
Starvox started 2019 the mortgage business, 2000 off and on.
I don't think it's going to work real well right now. We're still coming in like really bad. I'm missing everything you're saying. I heard like 2009.
I heard 2009, yeah.
got to find Wi-Fi. Do anything on the road anymore?
Nope, guess not. All right, well, how about we give you a few minutes to see if you can find something, and then pop back in.
Good.
I'll take that as a yes. It was cutting in not bad enough. I couldn't tell, but I think you can hear us. So we'll give you a chance to like find some place where you can get a little better Wi-Fi and then jump back in. And just I'll see you, John. So like if I see you kick your video on, I'll know like you're ready to try and come back in again. I'll take that as okay, and I'll go ahead and move him over. Okay, so when it comes to funding your deals, it's just like anything else out there. You have to know what you need and how you're going to do it. Okay, so we talked about, I know one of the systems we gave you was an offer making strategy, right? The first thing we do is we try to make a cash offer. And then the strategy that I showed you was if the cash offer doesn't work and they're just not having it because it's just too low, then what, right? We're going to move into, I transition into a creative financing offer and try to get it on creative financing. If I can't get it with creative financing, like a 30-year, like take over their 30-year mortgage with 0% down. When I say the first thing I try to do is if I can't get a cash offer accepted, then I'm going to say, would you be open to creative financing, right? Where I take over your mortgage. And I'm trying to get like a 30-year mortgage, right? If they got 27 years left, I'm trying to get to take over their 27 years at 0% down or zero money down. And if that doesn't work, then I move into a lease option. And if I can't get a lease option, I refer it off to a real estate agent that'll pay me a referral commission, right? Like that's an example of an offer making strategy. During that strategy, we want systems in place, right? What if we get the cash offer? Then what? They're in your pipeline, right? What's the next thing you're going to do? And then if we get creative financing, then what, right? We're going to take over their paper, or we're going to take over their loan. And then we're going to get with our title company, right? They're going to write the paperwork, do the thing. What if we get a creative or a lease option, right? What if we pass it off to a realtor? How does each thing work? So this concept of bringing in leads, it doesn't matter if you're wholesaling, fix and flipping, holding, or what you're doing with it. The process is always the same. You bring the leads in, you analyze them, decide what you're doing with them, and then you're going to actually put like follow through at that next step, right? So if you end up, say, taking over on seller financing, you may have to get a loan to bridge the gap while you close something or get the money down. If you decide, hey, you know what, this deal is really good, I'm going to buy this deal, I'm going to hold it, I'm going to fix and flip it, then you need to have a system and process in place for when I get that deal and I decide not to wholesale this one, I'm going to close on it, what's the next thing that I do, right? And so that's why we're bringing in John and why we're kind of talking about that is if you get to that point where you're like, we're going to hold this one or we're going to flip this one, then I just want you to be ready. And so if we create that step-by-step checklist here as well, that's going to help you speed through that process, right? You're not going to shy away from that deal because you're like, this will be a good one to flip, but I have no idea how to do that, right? And so we want to help you with that process and things right now. And then I know towards the end here, we're going to show you a little bit more about scalability and kind of what that'll look like. So did you have anything you want to add, Ann, like right now?
Yeah, I know like when you said that you'll get paid a referral from an agent, you have to understand that who you're talking to with an agent has to be investor friendly. So you just have to be like, when you're talking with them, if you don't already have one yet or not, hey, do you work with investors? Another thing you can do is instead of saying referral fee, these are words coming from an agent to me, actually. She's like, I wouldn't really say referral because we technically can't do referrals, but say a marketing fee. So that's another way that you can get paid, like a marketing fee. And I know he mentioned taking over payments, but there's also where if they own the property free and clear, most cases, I say, are you open to terms? And then if they usually will say either a straight no, I want cash, or they would be like, well, what are the terms? So then you can go into explaining what the terms would be if they're open to it. And that's where, same thing with Aaron, I would be looking for, the 30-year marker if I can. And if not, at least something to where it would work on, making a profit kind of thing, and your payments and down payment, things like that. So other than that, I don't know. I'm trying to think of anything else.
Other than that,
I got my body closer.
Oh, there we go. Show it off.
See, guys?
This is the 100K Club award, right? So like our program, your first 100K, when people sign up and work with us, we have a little challenge going on, right? And so when you hit your first 100K, I personally send you that champagne bottle that is that has your name on it and says, "Welcome to the 100K Club and McCleary."
Yes,
and so,
right here.
and like show off her bottle. Let's see if you can actually see it there.
They're like, why the heck did you open it up? I'm like, because it's pretty.
It's funny. I didn't open mine either. Right?
It is pretty. I'm not much of a wine drinker, I guess. I'm very picky. It's a taste thing
bottle
for me.
just because the bottle's like big and thick and it's awesome looking.
It's literally, it's not, no joke. It's literally, it's like the real, like it's solid. Like it's the real deal. Like it's, yeah. He didn't play around on that. I'll tell you that.
Right.
That was some real stuff, man. Feels like what is it called? Medieval.
Yeah, a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Well, while we're waiting on John here to get where he's going, because I know he was driving, and so I don't want to just kind of like just talk around in circles. So how about we do this? I'll impromptu. I'll share a little bit more inside of scalability so you guys can get a better idea of what these kind of systems and automation and things can look like as you get it up and running, right? Because I know one of the hardest things for a lot of people is I talk about, here's how you do your system, here's how you create it. And they're like, well, what's that look like? Right. And so that's why, over the last couple of days, we've tried to screen share and tried to give you a little bit of an example of things, because even after I talk about something, I always have people ask, what's that look like, right? How's that actually look? And so one of the first things that I had you do was I told you to create your 3 lists, right? Your have-tos, your flexibles, and your wants to take control of your time. And I know some of you probably did it, but let me know if you did it. Like, post a picture in the comments, and I'll share my calendar right now. Let me pull this up because I'll show you what it actually looks like. I know one of the times I taught this, we got all done, and somebody still had questions of like, how do I do this? What's it look like? How does it go from my 3 lists to my calendar? And so let me give you a practical walkthrough of what that looks like, right? So first, I'm going to show you what my calendar looks like right now. This is my real live calendar. Can you see my screen?
Yep, you can see it.
Okay, so I do the same thing, and I block out everything. If we look at my calendar, I literally have sleep blocked out from midnight to 5 a.m., right? And then at 5 a.m. to 7, I've got personal time, read my life statement, affirmations, definite a purpose. Like, that's my personal time. And then I've color coded mine. So anything blue is where I'm personally working on me, right? Like my God time, my reading time, my affirmations, stuff like that. My personal growth and development time. Anything in purple is with my family. That means like it's blocked out time with my family. And you see, I wake my girls up and I get them around. I get them ready for school and everything in the morning. And then orange is like ministry, Bible study, discipleship stuff. And then anything gold is meetings with people, right? And so as you see, I go on. I've even got like when I quit working, I block out time to spend with my family. And then I've got more me time in the evening. And then I've got sleep time blocked out. Like I blocked everything. And so this is what it starts to look like when you're done, right? So let me give you an example. Some of you may be coming into your calendar and be like, I've got a blank calendar. I've got my 3 lists, my have-tos, my flexibles, and my wants, But now what do I do with them, right? Let me make sure that we got this because I see that it did not jump over with me. I shared a blank calendar so you could see what I was talking about.
I'm sorry. I didn't see a blank calendar. My bad. I didn't know that's what you were looking for. I'm like, all I see is color, but
right.
I still see pretty colors.
Yeah. So you guys will make your 3 lists, right? Have to's, flexibles, wants. And then you're like, now what do I do with them? And even with me saying plug them into your calendar, sometimes it's hard to see. So here is real life, right? Like you saw what my calendar looks like when it's done, but how do we take that process and plug it in? So if you have your 3 lists, have to's, flexibles, wants, the first thing you're going to do is take your have to's and block them out on your calendar. So if I have to be to work from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock, and then I get a break for 15 minutes, I'm going to do this. I'm going to say 8 to 10 o'clock, W2 job. And I'm going to block it out. Now, does not repeat. I'm going to click right here. This is a Google Calendar, right? I can click does not repeat, and I can say every weekday, Monday through Friday. And then since this is work, I can color code it whatever I want right here, right? So let's say that green is work. And then I click save. And boom, I have blocked 8 to 10 o'clock Monday through Friday to be at my W2 job, right? Then I get a 15-minute break where I can do whatever I want. And so I can drop right in here, and here I can adjust the time. So let's say I grab this and I say 10:15 to noon, right? And see, I can slide this. So I'm going to slide this right down here to noon like that. 10:15 to noon. I'm going to make it to where it repeats every weekday, Monday through Friday. I'll make it the same color as my other one for my W2 job and save. And boom, now I know 8 to 10 and then 10:15 to noon is my W2 job, right? And you see here I didn't title it. So if I click on that, I can click the pencil to edit. I can add a title. And save. And it'll say you want to edit just this event or all of them. I can click all of them. Okay. And now I've edited all of them. Okay. If I get a lunch break and then I go from 1 to 3, I can go here, just drag this into where I want it. 1 to 3. Same thing. I'll make it green to match the other. I'll make it repeat Monday through Friday. I'll call it my W2. Save. And now you see what I'm looking at here, right? That's a have to, so it has to be done at certain times. Now, once it has to be done at certain times, then we go to the flexible list, and you're going to plug your flexibles in, right? So if I go to my flexible list and I say, well, I work from home, but I still have to work during these times. But I've got the dishes that need to be done. I've got laundry that needs to be done. But the time that those are done is flexible, right? So that's where we look at this and we say, okay, I've got a white space between 10 to 10:15, and from 12 to 1, I've got space. So here I could click in this space and I could change this by just sliding it. 10 to 10:15, and I fill that gap, right? And let's say I wash dishes. Let's say it's not a W2 job, so I'm going to change the color a little bit. I'm going to make that repeat. No, I'm not going to make it repeat. I'm just going to say it's on Sunday, or it's on Mondays. And when I save, it drops it right in that little block, right? You start taking your flexibles and you plug them into the little white spaces, and that's how your calendar starts to come together, okay? And this is the simple process. Plug in your have-tos, plug in your flexibles, and then you'll see what white space is left. That's the available time you have left in your day to plug in your wants. I want to build a wholesaling business, and the only time I have available is at 9 o'clock after the whole family's in bed and 30 minutes on my lunch break. Perfect. Block 30 minutes on your lunch break and block 9 o'clock to 10 p.m. to work on Facebook interaction and bring leads in. Okay. That's how you start plugging them in. And then what you'll find is very quickly, your calendar will start to fill up and you'll be like, boom, this is what it looks like now. This is what I do and how I do it. And then I sync this to my phone And I literally operate off the calendar of my phone all day, every day. The most important things you have, set an alarm to remind you for. So at 9 o'clock at night, if that's the time you work on like Facebook and interacting, work on your business, and you're tired, then set an alarm on your phone that at 9 o'clock, the alarm goes off on your phone and says, it's time to work on your business. Jump in and interact on Facebook. Right? So that's how we take that process and we actually plug it into your schedule and make it work. And you got anything to comment on that? I see John's waiting, so we're going to bring him back in.
Nope, I do the same thing. I just don't use a Google Calendar. I use my phone calendar. I'm still a bit behind, evidently. I don't know. My husband uses a Google Calendar, and he's like, "When are you gonna get this set up so we can just sync it?" And I'm like, "Sometime."
Sometime. I don't need to know your.
I probably will do it sooner or later. I have my alarms all set though.
So. Right. Mm-hmm. All right, here we go. Let's do this thing. There's John. What's up?
What's up?
Okay, that's better. Talk a little more.
I hope so. I'm on Wi-Fi right now, so if you can't hear me, it's not a me thing. It's a you thing.
There we go.
I don't know.
We got you.
Actually on Wi-Fi, so.
Well, now we can hear you good, and we can see you moving.
Goodness.
In your beautiful Connecticut pool.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, I'm used to Zoom. I'm not used to this restream studio deal, so.
Well, you know, I'm optimizing systems to stream in more than one place at one time.
Hey, man. So you do you, brother. I love it.
We're going techie.
Yes.
Well, hey, Don, tell us a little about you. So how did you get into the mortgage space? How'd you win and stuff? How'd you start Starbucks? What do you actually do? Like, give us the 411.
Sure. Yeah. I got into the mortgage space back in 2004 when there was no laws or there was no rules. Did regular residential financing and it was pretty much the wild west days, right? There was not much for rules. It crashed and burned in 2008, as everybody knows, and I got out. I left. I said I'll never go back to that business. Ended up going back in 2017. It kind of called me back and back into the residential space. So I got my NMLS licenses for Connecticut and Massachusetts. And then I discovered some cool loan called a fix and flip loan. And I started talking to more investors. And I realized that nobody's really talking to investors, especially in my market. I didn't hear of anybody in that world. But then again, I wasn't in that world yet. So come to find out, there's a ton of people talking to investors. But yeah, so I was working for a brokerage at that time and realized that it makes more sense for me to do this on my own versus do it for somebody else. So that's why I launched Starbucks Capital in 2019. And the plan was just to do a small little, just me working and closing loans for investors that I meet here and there. And now it's evolved quite a bit. And, especially with, I'll plug you, but it's not because it's not deserved. It is deserved. This scalability is kind of really opening up so many opportunities, not just for my loan officers and the business that I'm running, but just how I onboard people. I did a whole pipeline kind of thing on how I onboard new LOs. It's just really, I'm just scratching the surface and I'm pumped. But yeah, so I've been doing it for quite some time and now I'm poised to grow. The goal was 25 loan officers for 2023, but I've adjusted and bumped that up to 50. So yeah.
I'd say because you've been bringing in people quite a bit.
starting to. It hasn't even really. I have to put the systems and processes in place first, but now they're getting there. Honestly, because of scalability, it's given me a lot more confidence to say, all right, why stop at 25? Let's go to 50.
Nice. Good. Yeah. Glad to hear it. Cool. Well, hey, we have this whole week, we've been talking to people that are getting started in like wholesaling, and naturally there's kind of a progression of wholesaling into holding rentals, flipping properties, and things like that. So I told them that we bring you in, kind of expert in the financing space, so that we've taught them how to create a foundation, commit to what they're doing. We've taught them how to create automation and systems through their own pipeline, like you're talking about. We showed them how to create a pipeline and then to start listing out what happens in every stage of it so that they can create those automations like what you did. And so now we want to I want to give them all the pieces of the puzzle, right? They start finding deals and they go, you know what? I want to buy this one. I want to flip this one. I want to hold this one. And so we're trying to give them kind of a checklist, if you will, of things they would need to have in place to where they're not wasting a lender's time and they don't have to make 500 phone calls to try and figure it all out on their own, right? So we figured we'd have you kind of walk us through just pieces that, if somebody comes to you and says, hey, I want to do a fix and flip, I want to hold this property, what are the things that they need to have in place, right? That's going to help them get that the funding they need, right?
And,
so if you kind of talk some of that, and then we'll ask questions kind of as we go, and we'll kind of create that for them.
And those steps, if those steps hit every category that you are offering in your lending, like I see in short term and all that, if that makes sense, like what they need, does it all fit all those categories?
Fix and flip and holding rentals.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, in general speaking, there's a few things that anybody needs to get financing, right? The things that we look at no matter what property are credit score, its liquidity, and its experience. Those three things are things that we look at. Now, if you don't have experience, that's okay. We have lenders that work with people that don't have experience. If you don't have money, well, let's figure out how to get you money, either by partnering up with somebody that does, right? So just strategizing on what, instead of like, so I don't mind if somebody comes to me and doesn't really have a clue. The goal is to really make sure that they can come and figure out a plan, be it with me or with somebody else, on how to get their first property, how to take it down. Because a lot of people won't even take the first step and reach out and have a conversation because they're like, well, I don't have money, or my credit's in the toilet.
Yeah.
I don't have experience. Well, guess what? Other people do. So that's another conversation. But in general, we're looking at liquidity, we're looking at credit score, and we're looking at experience for any type of a loan. Now, for fix and flip, those are like the things that you need. So if you don't have them, get them from somebody else. That's kind of like, investor training 101, right? Partner with somebody that does. But when you do have it, it really comes down on a flip is really the numbers of the property, because I can still get good terms with one of my lenders if you don't have experience, but the numbers are really good and your credit score is high. So like I can get maybe a 10% down on a flip property if that scenario plays out the other way. But the numbers have to be good. And when I talk about the numbers have to be good, many of you know what that means, but I'll reiterate it. It's what are you buying it for? How much is your renovation? And what is the ARV? And what's the margin that you're going to basically pull on that, right? So what do the numbers really look like on that deal as if you're going to flip it? Even if you decide to hold it later on, they're still evaluating just that information for a purchase transaction. I hope that kind of starts us off on conversations.
Absolutely. So does somebody need to have like an LLC and a business bank account, or can they just come as an individual that's getting started that says, hey, I want to flip this one?
Generally speaking, this market's a little different, right? The market's kind of evolved. It's gotten a little more tricky. I want to say I still have a couple lenders that will let you come in personally and do this and say, all right, I don't have an LLC yet or anything. I actually have a couple investors that's all they were doing. I would talk to an attorney and say, is that the smartest thing to do? Most lenders want you to have an LLC because liability. I mean, I'm not an attorney, but most lenders want and require it. They don't require maybe the business bank account, but that's a step you should do at some point. You know what I mean? Because they want to know where your money's going to be automatically drawn from every month for their payment, right? So it needs to be a checking account. But in general, liquidity, all your money does not have to be in one account. You can pull from your checking, savings, you have to show that you have it. It doesn't have to be centralized anywhere. And now when we talk about liquidity, it doesn't have to be all from you. It can also be from your partner or somebody that's kind of written in on the LLC that maybe holds a 10% ownership on the LLC.
We're going to jump into that here in just a second because I love it. And that is the creativity of the investor side of things that a lot of people don't think about. And so we just want to give them some ideas. So when we talk about like the business, first, just to stop right there. An LLC is going to help you get funding. A business bank account is going to help you get funding. So I am about fastest way to money, right? How do we get money in your pocket? That's why we started teaching you guys this method of free leads through Facebook. Don't worry about if you're just getting started, just getting started, don't worry about your LLC and everything else. Partner with somebody else who has a deal, bring a buyer, split the profits, put a couple $1,000 in your pocket. Now, go grab an LLC. Okay? You can go straight to incfile.com, incfile.com, and you can have them set up an LLC for you in like 2 weeks, cost you like $500. Or you can go, if you want to be more hands-on, you can go straight to your state and county website and you can start it yourself. Okay. But the fact is, go and put some money in your bank and then take that money, set up your LLC in your bank account so that you're better protected and prepared as you start to move forward into holding or flipping your own properties down the road, right? Because what John's saying, he works with a bunch of different lenders and there's a lot of them that require that LLC. So don't burden yourself with it on day one, but plan on moving into it as you grow, right? So that's a good one. Paula said, would you be looking at company credit score or personal credit score? Can people finance straight through the business or is it going to bank on them personally?
There's always a personal guarantee, especially when we're talking about fix and flip or 1 to 4 units, 5+. The only time that actually, no, I believe it's always going to look at your personal credit score. Your business credit score doesn't really come into play on any type of lending. Even the guys that are buying, 400 unit apartment buildings, somebody's got to put their name on the application, whether it's recourse or non-recourse. Someone's got to be a signer on it. So yeah, there still has to be a qualification point, and it really comes down to credit score, your personal.
And so when you're looking at credit score, what's just a guideline? Somebody like a 500 plus or like a 700, like what's just a ballpark that people can kind of expect or shoot for?
In today's market, I would say it's safe to say 650, 660, somewhere around there at a minimum.
Okay. Yeah.
Obviously, terms and numbers get way better the higher that goes. It's the market's tough right now. A lot of people have been tightening up. A lot of the lenders tightening up.
Yeah, of course. There's a lot of weird things going on just because of the unsurety of the market. And so it's good to have that idea, right? So kind of that 650, 660. Now, something John mentioned, which I love because I'm a fan of too, the creativity side. If you don't have a 650, don't be like, screw it, I'm out. He mentioned it in passing, but it's very much a part of real estate. As you start leveraging and doing deals, right? Let's say you're flipping 2 properties already. You've got a bunch of debt in your name. You start racking up credit cards to do the flip. There's nothing wrong with it. You're leveraging it if you're tracking it, right? You can play those percentages on the credit cards and still make a ton of money flipping a house. But when you do that, your credit score takes a dive. And so during the time, right? Like I've been at almost 800 credit score and then 3 months later been at like a 550 and then back up to a 700 and then to a 400 and then up to a 750. It's because if you are actually using your credit, it's going to be skyrocketing and diving depending on how much of your available credit you're utilizing. So go ahead.
One thing on that you had mentioned, which, talking about debt on your credit report, a way to avoid that is get these loans in your LLC, because if they're put in your LLC, which most lenders require, they won't report. They're not supposed to report onto your personal credit score, on your personal credit report. They don't report there. So another reason that, what hurts some people to get into different types of loans that look at your debt to income ratio, like the business loans, is, well, I went conventional financing for these 3 investment properties. Well, that trashes your debt to income ratio. It absolutely trashes it for like things like business loans, car loans, other credit cards. Like it absolutely destroys it. So if you're doing it this way, and that's part of the I guess the selling, the feature of this, the benefit of doing these type of loans in your LLC is they're not supposed to report on your credit report. And I've actually seen it happen, plenty of times. But if you do it in your name, they're going to report.
So that's if you have an LLC and your LLC is applying for the loan, but you just said like they still have to put their name on it for their credit score being checked. Is that still
Correct.
considered in the LLC name and it's not going to bother them even though they signed the personal guarantee, if you will?
Correct. Yes. So the loan documentation is in the LLC. The loan is taken out from the LLC. The LLC,
Yep.
all the documentation, you're just a guarantor on the signing day. And that's it.
Yep. There you go. We're learning. So see,
I just learned something new. That's freaking cool. I didn't even know that at all. That's so cool.
That's
hey,
why
I
we
added
bring
value.
That's how we bring in the professionals for this stuff.
All right.
This is what John does. Okay. And so I want to make sure we'll make sure we like get you connected in the comments too. So where you guys can just reach out to John. And then if you actually start using Scalability, we have a link inside of Scalability that takes you directly to John. So if you need funding options, it's actually like built in. But with having that in place, right? If you don't have that 650 credit score, right? He's talking about we're putting it into an LLC. You're taking that loan essentially from them. If someone else, you know, like a friend, a partner, everything else, they can partner with you on that deal to bring the credit score, right? They don't have to be a 50-50 partner and hold the business and be able to control your stuff, but there's ways you can work with other. And I'm trying to fund this deal.
It's like, Aaron, is
Can you
that
guys
you
still hear me?
now? Yeah.
was you
I was
this
like,
time.
wait a minute. Was that Aaron? Because I was like,
That was Aaron this time.
How are we doing
man.
now? Is it back?
You're back.
Yeah, you're good. He froze a little bit. I was like, whoa, caught me off
Everybody's
guard.
going crazy. So you can partner with somebody just on one deal even, right? Like even in your business, you don't have to write a whole LLC and give somebody 50% of your business just to use their credit score. There's partnerships where you can say, hey, would you be willing to partner up with me on this deal because my credit is low right now and I need somebody with a credit score as a guarantor, right, to work through this deal with me and help us get it funded. Go ahead.
And on that note, it all comes down to the structure on the operating agreement. Every lender looks at it a little bit differently. So they're both on the LLC and the operating agreement. I'll be straight up honest with you. A lot of these lenders are like, yeah, just adjust the operating agreement to reflect percentages, right? So if you've got a 500 credit score and your person that you're bringing in is the 700, well, guess what? You're going to have to be like 19% ownership on the operating agreement, and the other person's going to be the other half, and that's how it's going to reflect for this deal. Whether or not it changes the second it closes, it means nothing. Like the lender needs to see that. And here the reason being, and I'll give you the reason. If you have a 500, that's why you'll structure it that way. I'll bring it back. That's why you'll need to structure it that way. If you have a credit score that's still qualifies, but they're going to drive off on this side of the business off the higher of the two credit scores versus like the conventional world where they drive off the lower all the time. On this side, they'll drive off that 700. Even if you're at a 650 and you don't qualify for the best terms, well, that's why you bring that person in at the 700. Now they qualify for the best terms. You're both going to be guarantors on the loan still. You both can be, because the lower person on the credit score totem pole there still qualifies. But if it happens to be where that person is a 500 or really doesn't qualify for this lender, that's when you'll have to tweak the operating agreement to reflect that person just can't be a guarantor because they don't qualify. I just wanted to add that.
Yep.
I want to stop him right there for the operating agreement. So you're saying when you go to put get this loan, you keep it in your LLC name, but you're going to want to reflect it in the operating agreement. Are you saying just when you're saying reflect in the operating agreement, if they see a change in a new date, or should you keep it the old date and then of your operating agreement that you made, and then just add them in there and then give the underwriters the operating agreement? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I mean, I've never had anybody really ask me about dates or anything. We just have them, make that change on the operating agreement. I actually haven't even paid attention, but I don't think that matters as long as on paper they see what they want to see. They're covered that way.
And so just before we let's not overcomplicate it too and rabbit trail in the wrong direction. But if somebody, as you guys are growing, right, this is for as you're growing and you decide, I want to flip this one, or as you're growing, I want to hold this one, right? You could be doing 10 plus deals wholesaling and decide you want to buy one and flip it. What my recommendation would be is you start a new LLC for that property, especially if you're bringing in a partner because you need a a better credit score partner, or you need somebody with experience to get it funded, you can bring in that partner just for that deal. And it's perfect. Like spend $500, get you an LLC, set up a separate bank account, and then write the paperwork. So the funder, the lender can say, I like it. And they fund that deal. You don't have to. So like something Ann was saying was possibly going back and changing the paperwork for your LLC that's already in place. Remember, this is a growth point, right? There's a lot of little moving pieces, and that's the reason you reach out like to John to help get the funding done when you're ready, right? Because he'll, as you can tell, he thinks outside the box like investors do, and he can help like with those pieces, right? Like, hey, just start another LLC. Let's write it up with you and your partner, and that way we leverage his credit score. We just put the operating agreement to say this and this, we're good. And now it's just that deal, and they don't have control over your whole business. So that's kind of that as you get to that point. Now, you said credit score, liquidity, and experience. Any one of those three things that you guys don't have, you can get from somebody else. And it's always going to be that LLC operating agreement that says, well, this person, my friend who has flipped 20 houses, is my partner with me on this one. We started this LLC. He's got this partnership, and he brings all this 20 years worth of experience, and I'm doing the actual physical work, and that's our partnership on this deal. And then John can help show you, oh, this is what that needs to say to where it gets you the funding you need. Does that make sense? You guys can put it in the comments too. Even if you're watching on the replay, does that make sense? Because I guarantee you we'll get your questions answered even after John's gone. So
That's right.
When you get started with your funding, right? And John, we'll make sure, like, what's the best way for people to reach out to you?
The best way is if it's just a question, is my email address. I mean, it's it's quick and easy. I see them, and I like phone calls. We can set up a phone call. I mean, we can go back and forth that way. Set up a phone call.
Okay. What's the email address you want somebody to reach out to you if they got a question?
Do it to my my work email. It's jkrause@starvoxcapital.com.
I have another question when you're ready.
All right. I put it in the comments for those of you who are listening and watching on the replay too. You guys get to where you're ready to fund a deal, just reach out and ask John the questions directly. 2, ask in here. We'll make sure we get you answered during this week. What do you have, Ann?
I'm just to clarify, like I heard that you said you're licensed in Connecticut and Massachusetts, right? Is it the loan officers that are your loan officer that you're getting on your team? Are they going to be licensed in other states? Is that how that's going to work out?
So the licenses are required for your conventional type lending. So Starvox Capital doesn't do any of that, right? I got my licenses to work on if you want to buy your primary home or your second home and you want to go through, conventional FHA, that kind of thing. I can do that, but not through Starvox Capital. I have like a side thing over at a direct lender. So the people that I bring on do not need a license. I mean, it's most states in the United States don't require a license for somebody to do these type of loans because we're lending to LLCs. It's a business purpose loan is how the regulation is looking at it versus somebody, even though it could be a 1 to 4 unit residential house, it's still a commercial loan because it's in an LLC.
That's cool. I wanted to clarify that with you because I actually did hear it from a different hard money lender, I believe is what he called himself. And he's like, well, I'll have to check your state laws and see if I have to be licensed in there. And I'm like, all right. That's
why I
asked that question.
There are state laws. Some states are really super strict about it. Maybe like California, Arizona are a couple states that are really like, they want you to be licensed. But there are lenders that will lend they'll lend to you, no problem. I mean, in those states, if you need money, I mean, they don't. If the lender will be licensed in those states.
So that's it. With Starvox Capital, he's leveraging a bunch of different lenders, right? So John is the guy that goes out and helps find the right loan for the deal that you have. So that's the important part to know is like, if you have a deal funded, you reach out and John can help with like, this is where it's at. This is the kind of loan that's going to suit you best. And here's the things we need. So just a quick recap. There's 3 things he said that every lender is going to be looking at. credit score, liquidity, and experience, right? So as you guys start coming in, you start doing a few deals, put some money in your bank, then you're going to start working towards, I'm going to hold something, I'm going to flip something myself. Think about your credit score, liquidity, and experience. And then if you don't have it, who do you know that does? Everything in real estate is going to be creative, period. So like anything you don't have, someone else does. And if your first thought was, yeah, but why would they partner with me if they got 20 years worth of experience? Always think, how can you help them get what they want? Right? If you start thinking, how do I help them get what they want, you will get what you want in perpetuity, right? If I say, hey, I need somebody with experience so that I can flip this place, they're like, well, I have the experience, but I don't have time to work on something with you. Be like, no problem. I just need you on the paperwork with the experience as kind of a guarantor. I'll do all the legwork. I'll do all the everything else. I'll report to you in this way so you know exactly what's going on. So you don't have to do anything. I just need you in there to get the deal done. They're like, how much money am I going to make? Right? To lend you my experience. And you just work with people and talk to people. Hey, will this work for you? I'll go 50-50 with you. I'll 80-20 with you. If you can't get the deal done at all without somebody else's experience, you could give them 80% of the profit. You're still putting money in your pocket and experience in your pocket. And then the next one, you can do it differently. So like figure out what other people need, and then how can you work with them to get what you need so that you can move forward on any one of these pieces.
And Aaron, I wanted to also see if you wanted to add in, I know it possibly could be a question. Why would it be better to go with a lender than just putting all my money into that property and just keeping it myself? I believe that's something I know that's something that could come up. And I was like, I can't explain that better. I can think about it, but I know that Aaron could probably explain it better because lending will be better. You'll be better off doing. I don't know if you want to explain that.
I am always a fan of using other people's money and things like that, because if you have $100,000 in the bank and you think I'm going to go pay cash for this house and buy it myself so that I don't have a payment, you have now lost $100,000 worth of working capital. Yep. If you partner with the bank and the bank will loan you 80%, or one of John's lenders can give you 80%, and then they fund the flip, you're now just putting 20% down. And so you put 20 grand down instead of 100 grand down, and you still have 80 grand to work with. I even go as far as I'll take the 80% from the bank, and then I'll get a private lender to lend me the 20% and keep my whole 100. That way I can work the actual profit of the property to pay for itself and not have to be out with any of my money at all. Because if something happens, you're just stuck. Well, I've got all my money tied up in that house. Now I can't buy another house or do anything else. So that's a rabbit hole I'm not going to go down right now, but I would always be talking to people like John, private lenders, and like working that out to use other people's money for all of it. I don't want my own money tied up in anything.
One quick thing to add real quick on that, just to button it up, is somebody may say, well, in order for me to get this deal, they want all cash offers. Everyone wants a cash offer coming from a wholesaler, cash offer. Well, fine. Go ahead if you have to do that and put that cash offer in and pay cash, but talk to the lender to make sure we can do a delayed financing to get that financed for you right afterwards. So that's another strategy that I've used with plenty of other investors who didn't really know much about that side of it, came to me and said, all right, I just bought this property cash and I don't have money for the renovation. Well, let's get you refinanced into a reno loan, right? And then they get X amount of cash at the table. They can start their renovation as soon as we close that thing, because now they've gotten a certain percentage of what they put down right back at the table as a cash out refinance, essentially. Just another way to look at it.
Explain what you just said there with that. Instead of them buying it, there is a way. How would you do that with them?
Instead of them, what do you mean?
Instead of them just saying, oh, I just paid all cash. You just mentioned something really quickly in passing that I think a lot of people probably didn't completely understand or catch.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're going to, if they have to pay cash, they're going to pay cash. They're going to close on that property with that cash.
Yep.
Go ahead, do it. But make sure you're already talking to me or somebody like me that can get you the financing as quickly as possible to get you that cash back, so that you can just get that money back as quickly as possible, because you won the deal with your cash. Good for you.
Yep.
But now you need to move forward and be able to do more things with cash. Yeah.
Yep.
I can add to that actually. So I had a property where I had to close on it, period. But my buying partner, my cash buyer, they were delayed in their lending. So I actually went out, I found my private lender and I had my money brought down. And actually, I didn't bring that. Actually, I had a partner bring that one. Can't say who that was. I literally went to him like, hey, because we were doing a JV split. He brought the buyer, and I'm like, here's the deal. I can bring half that down, or the 20%, but can you, like, he's like, I'll just do it all. I'm like, all right, I'm down with that. Yeah, nice. And so, so he brought the 20% so we can close on it, take care of the property owners. And then we just waited it out, which it wasn't too much longer. It was like 2-3 weeks that we were waiting on just the lender to finish up what they were doing. And then we closed on it, got all our money back. And then, my private lender got his money. And so it's the same concept.
So for those of you who are just getting started, or this seems like maybe it's a little high up the ladder, you might recognize this as the BRRRR method: buy, renovate, refinance, that kind of a thing, right? So that's essentially what they're talking about, is you're lining up funding so that you can buy it all cash, do what you need to, close, and the cash can come from anywhere. But let's say you used a bunch of high interest credit cards to close on it, and now you don't want to be paying 24% interest to hold that house. You close, and immediately John funds the deal, and you pay off the credit cards. You got the property, and it's funded through a lender. You still paid with cash. So,
well, there is a caveat to that. Oftentimes, they want to see that it came from cash, though. As far as the lenders that I've used in the past, they want to know that actually came. But some of them will want to know that it came from cash in a true delayed financing situation. Right. And it's technically not a BRRRR method. Like this part that we're talking about isn't really a BRRRR, because you're really just recouping your cash to get the deal, to get the property done. The BRRRR method is when it's done, then we refi you out, get you in long-term debt, and get you more money back in your pocket, technically.
There we go. Gotcha. Cool. Well, if you guys have any questions, put them in the comments. Even if you're watching on the replay, we see your comments. We'll make sure we get your questions answered. John, thanks for your time, man.
It's been my pleasure, and I apologize to you guys and to anybody who watches this in the replay for attempting to do this somewhere, not in front of a computer or on Wi-Fi.
Yeah, no problem. We'll get her all dialed in for the next one.
Yes, sir. Yes.
All right, man. Well, have a good rest of your day.
Thanks. Take care. Bye, Ann.
Yep. See ya.
Bye.
Well, cool. It was good to get a little insight from like John and the way he looks at it. And this is why I've always liked John, is he thinks of it kind of from an investor standpoint, right? Like he sees it from creativity, right? Which is like, if you guys are going to be good at this, wholesaling, flipping, rentals, creative, passing them off for referrals, everything you do in real estate is about creativity. If you want to be a good investor, an investor just lines things up. You figure out how to solve the problems for everybody to where everybody wins, and that's how you make a bunch of money. Okay? So working with people like John is huge because he understands that creativity. So you can actually ask questions, have ideas, and he's going to be like, yeah, that won't work. Oh, but you could do this, right? And that's huge because as you guys get going and you start dealing with different lenders, the ones that are just like, nope. It has to be this, or nothing at all. It's like, it's hard to get anything done, right? And I know Ann has mentioned in the past, like this week at some point or other, the idea of getting like investor-friendly title companies. It's the same thing as investor-friendly lenders, right? Like you want lenders that understand the creativity and will work with you. You want title companies that understand the way you get creative and will work with you and can do different types of deals, not just say, you can't do that, right? It's the same thing throughout everything you do. You have to learn how to be creative. You are not day one becoming a creator, getting focused. You are not a hustler, okay? You will never create a business that gives you and your family the financial freedom if you're hustling from one deal to the next. Learn how to become a creative problem solver. Learn how to build systems in your business, automate things, get creative, work it out to where everybody wins. When you learn how to do that, and that's your focus, you'll get deals easier. You'll get funding easier. You'll have the right title companies in place. Like everything flows better when you focus on how do we solve problems and make it to where everybody can win, right? And did you have something you want to add there?
I'm in agreement with it. So literally, yeah. And I mean, just going back to that whole thing of the reason being that the JV method is just so much easier is because you're not, how do I explain this? I don't even think I even told everybody, I don't even know if I told everybody how I started or whatever, but not that we have to go on a whole spiel on that. But I have been wholesaling from acquisition side to disposition side from the start. And it definitely is. It feels like a hustle. Like once one deal comes in, closes, I'm like, okay, I gotta get back out and do the next one. But when the JV started coming in, I was like, wow, that was really quick and easy. I like that. So those are so much easier because you're already talking to them. They're already bringing you deals. Like it's coming into your email box, and you're just like going through them, taking that time, like he said in your calendar. Like you have that time slot in there saying, go through the properties in your email. Technically your work time on your business, and then okay, I gotta these numbers work. All right, I'm going to reach out to them and say, hey, these numbers might work for my buying partners. So that process is definitely the easiest and fastest way, and definitely getting you the capital that you need to get to where you need to be with lending too. So
Yep, absolutely. That's a good play. That's a good point. Like understanding the way that it'll work long term is more important than anything else. Figuring out how to work on your business is what creates that freedom. You can say you want to create financial freedom all you want, but if all you do is try to contact sellers and get deals, you will never create an actual business that creates the life you want. And that's just the hard, unsexy truth about it. Like if you are not working on your business, which I'm sure you've heard on your business instead of in your business is calling sellers, right? And an example is how much how valuable is cold calling, right? Like if you're cold calling sellers, how high value of a task is that, right? Like put it in the comments, even if you're watching on the replay. Is that a $500 an hour task, a $4 an hour task? Like how valuable is that? Because we've been taught, right, to just get deals. But the fact is, cold calling is how you get the deals, right? You're contacting sellers, right? And you can't get a deal unless you contact the seller, right? So it's got to be a high value task. But it's not, because I can pay a virtual assistant $3 an hour to do it. So it's a $3 an hour task. You are not working on your business by making a bunch of cold phone calls. You are working in your business. You pay a virtual assistant $3 an hour, and you're working on your business by training that virtual assistant, by creating a process of training them so that they know exactly how to talk to the sellers for you. It's a $3 an hour task to make the calls, even though they lead to getting the deals. It is a thousands of dollars an hour task to create the training plan for that virtual assistant. Because now you could bring in 10 more virtual assistants at $3 an hour and train every single one of them to have the same success as the first one with the training plan that you created the one time.
I was just about to say, I was like, but you can't hire your VA unless you know your own processes, going back to automation day and systems day, because that is the same way with me. That's how, like with Aaron, that's where we technically started. It's like, hey, you need to do your processes from start to finish. Just like he showed you here is what I went through. And without that, I did hire a VA at the time. And then it took a lot of my time. But they did do the things that I had set up for them. It's just the fact that you have to know your own business before you can even show somebody else, train somebody else. So without doing it and having the processes set up.
Yep. And so right at the beginning, you might be a solopreneur and you have to make the calls, or you have to do the Facebook interaction. You have to do the process to bring in your leads. And that is important, but that doesn't make it a high value task. What's important, what makes it a high value task, is while you're making those cold calls, you're actually writing down the responses of every single person you talk to and coming up with a rebuttal for every one of those responses, and creating a training that can teach future virtual assistants, right? So you're not just showing up and just making calls. You're actually writing down what everybody says. You're listening to recordings from those calls. You're saying, the seller said this, what can I say in response? And figuring out what to say in response, and then doing it on the next one, seeing if it works. And then as it works, you're creating this is the way you call people. Here's a good script. Here's when they say this, you say this. You're creating a training program while you're the one that has to make the calls. Now, while you're making the calls, that's a high value task, because you're actually creating training and processes as you do what has to be done, so that you can then pass it off to someone else and they can do it just like you do it. And then you continue to work on it and make it better so that you can bring in more people. Every single piece of your business has to be done that way. That's how you work on it to create that financial freedom and that time for your family. Okay. We are an hour and 20 on day 5. We got to be done with this thing. I want to respect your time. I told you I would give you for free this 5 days, and I would show you exactly like how to do things. Now it's just reiterating over and over and over. And I don't want to just tell you the same stuff over and over. The last 5 days, get your foundation in place. Start making your automation, your pipeline. Start creating what you want in every stage of your pipeline. How are you going to run your business from start to finish? Foundation, automation, and systems. Then start bringing in your traffic. Facebook profile, generating your free leads through partnerships and direct to seller through buy sell trade groups. Like JVing with other people is your fastest way to money. Everything else will allow you to scale from there when you have money coming in, because money coming in allows you to do the LLC, allows you to partner with people, allows you to run ads, allows you to do whatever else you want to do. Okay. So fastest way to money. Put those things in place. Implement what we taught you this week. I promise you it works. We have people come out of these challenges and make money with never buying anything from us. And I've never even shown scalability in the past. It's just been teaching people how to do it. And they've literally taken a pen and paper and they've been able to do it. Scalability just takes it to the next level. You guys are the first ones to see that in any of my challenges. And so implement what you learn. It will work for you. You will start having processes. You will start working on those. And that's how you work on your business. So was it a good week? Put it in the comments, even if you're watching on the replays. What did you think you were going to get that you didn't? What did you get that you didn't expect? What was the epiphanies? The, woo, that was awesome. I never knew that. Like, put that stuff in the comments and let us know. Because just like I told you to work on your business and make it better, I'm always working on this and making it better. So when you guys say, oh, here's my feedback, I'm like, perfect. And I'll do the next one and I'll make changes and I'll dial it in the same way that you need to make changes and dial in your business as you're working on it. So I love the feedback. Good, bad, doesn't matter. I love it. Put it in there. Doesn't matter if it's live or on the replay. I'll take it anyway and we'll look at it. Remember, you have through this weekend to watch the replays right here in the group. And then on Monday, we delete everything and kick everybody out of the group. Like, we just don't mess with like the free time wasting in the groups. We want you to take action and get moving on your business from this point on. So catch up on the replays. Now, for those of you who are interested in like scalability or working with us, I'm going to transition. I'm going to talk about that right now. But I told you I wasn't going to pitch for 5 days. I was going to like give you value. And so now we have done that, right? So I'm making it a hard, here's where we transition. The challenge is done. I have given you 5 days worth of awesome stuff that you can implement and put to work. I'm going to shift now for the people that are asking, how do you work with us, or how do you get into scalability and kind of copy our systems, because we have a program called Your First 100K, and I've got a special offer just for people that were here to where we can give you all of the automation and pipeline that we showed you during this challenge. We literally copy it straight into a scalability account. And then there's ways you can work with us. So if you're interested in that, hang around. I'll talk about that now, and I'll answer the questions now, and I'll screen share and show you a little bit more inside of scalability.
Getting choppy, Aaron. I'm hoping that everybody can still see me. Anyways, Aaron, you're choppy.
It looks like
you're frozen. There, you're like, I don't know, a little choppy. You're still a little choppy. Now you're a blur.
Now? Tell me when you see me.
I see you, but you're like a blur. Well, I guess. Glad my internet's working, because Fridays it's usually not. It's not my Wi-Fi. It's actually my internet connection.
How about now?
It's fuzzy, but yeah, I mean, you're there.
How about now? Can you hear me? Are we streaming now? We good? We good to go? It looks like I'm back up and running. Okay, and I see some comments coming in, so let me address those first. Great week. Thanks so much. Super excited about scalability. Plan to start the trial next week. Then set up my Facebook page. Perfect. Little discouraged. You have to pay for the whole year. Would prefer monthly just to make sure it's going to work. Hey, I like all feedback, and it's good that you put it in there, because you can pay monthly. You don't have to pay for the whole year. You can sign up. You can go to fastscalability.com. You can start a 14-day free trial, and you can start building the stuff yourself, right? You can watch the replays. You have it all written out. You can create your own pipeline. You can create your own automation, and you can just start working on it and cancel it month to month, anytime. There's no there's nothing like tying you into it. You can just go monthly. So I don't know where you're looking at just the year, but if it's not giving you the option, just shoot me a message, and I'll make sure that you got the right link or whatever to where you can just go monthly and sign up. I have a year package that I'm going to talk about now, where if you pay for the whole year up front now, I'll give you all of the pipeline, the automations, and everything that we've built specifically for real estate. So that's what I'm going to show you right now. But that's the only way you have to pay for the whole year, is if you want to get all.
Choppy again. It does. I'll jump in when he's frozen, I guess. Paying for the whole year, it does. There is a bit of it's like, it saves you money than paying per month, if that makes sense.
How about now? Looks like my stream is working again. Man, I'm coming in and out, so I don't understand why all of a sudden, but
it's like a focus.
Yeah. So if you go to, I see Paula's comments now, and it's like just trying to throw me off. If you go to fastscalability.com and you click start your free trial, then you have to select whether you want to go monthly or yearly. Okay. If you want to pay the yearly and get the program, the package that I'm going to give you right now, then I've got a link that I'll shoot you to after this. Okay. So I'll give you a special link for the special challenge stuff we have going on right now. But first, I want to show that to you. So as long as my internet will hold on, I'm going to show you what all this actually looks like inside of here. So I'm going to screen share, because inside of scalability, we have a program called Your First 100K. Okay. And that to me is like, if you are wholesaling or wanting to wholesale, or you've done a few deals and you're trying to figure out like how to really make it go, then I've been one-on-one coaching for 4.5 years. And I believe there's certain things you have to have success. One, you can't just buy a course and have success, because 85% of people who buy a course never even finish the course. And I've had people spend 25 grand with me for a year and only show up for 3 months. So it doesn't matter how much you spend or how little you spend, 85% of people will not even finish the course that they purchase. Okay. So I don't like to just sell a course and say good luck. Everything I do will have some form of community and training behind it. And Your First 100K program, I believe you need the course so that you have information. But then I also believe it needs to be in a way that's easy for you to make it work. I believe people have W-2 jobs, families, everything else. And so our courses and training programs can actually, we deliver them in a custom app. So literally on your phone, you can just click the app on your phone, open it up, and learn how to generate these leads with the JV method. Learn exactly what to do day by day to generate motivated seller leads through buy-sell trade groups. Like we have the step-by-step laid out. And we made it super easy to where all the videos are pretty short. Most of them are 5 to 10 minutes long, which means if you got a 15-minute break in the morning at work, you can click the app on your phone, open it up, and do a lesson and be working on moving your business forward. And then accountability is huge. Accountability and community. You're never going to finish anything if you don't have some form of accountability. And coaching, there's a reason I've been one-on-one coaching for 4.5 years. I believe that's how people get success. Like, because my first coach I signed up with, I had a course, I had all the information, I had all the knowledge. As soon as the first time a real estate agent goes, Aaron, that's great. Just send me over a proof of funds and I'll get your offer put in and we'll get moving. And I was like, yeah, okay, no problem. I'll get that over to you, today or tomorrow. I'm not sure. I'm a little busy today. Hung up and I was like, oh, crap. How do I get a proof of funds? I don't know what to do. I was like, I'm barely getting started and the whole thing's falling apart. Like, I was just like freaked out. I was like, holy crap. I don't have a proof of funds. I don't have funds. And so I called my coach because I actually spent the money right up front on a one-on-one coach. I called my coach and I left him a message. He called me back and he said, are you sitting at a computer? And I said, yeah. He goes, open up your internet, go to besttransactionfunding.com. I was like, okay. I go in there. I pull it up. He goes, you see where it says proof of funds? I'm like, yeah. He said, click on that. I click on that. He goes, there you go. Just put your information in there and they'll give you a proof of funds. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, put in your name, phone number, email, the address, the asking price, and they will give you a proof of funds saying that you have the money to purchase this. And you can do it as many times as you want for free. And I was just like, I would have been stuck, right? Like I probably would have avoided that real estate agent and been like, crap, now what do I do? Right? Like I could have easily given up on wholesaling just because I couldn't get a proof of funds when my coach just goes, oh yeah, all you got to do is this and you got free proof of funds for life. I'm like, what? When somebody is there to answer your questions, you're never left just stuck trying to figure it out on your own. Because here's the facts. You can learn everything for free on YouTube. I'm not going to lie to you and say you have to have me in my program. If you haven't noticed, I'm a very forward, honest person. I want people that want to work with us to where we have a really good relationship and everybody wins, everybody makes money. Okay? That's important to me because I like to have fun and get to know you. So like you can learn everything you want to know for free on YouTube. The fact is, it's going to take you years to figure it out. Took me years to figure it out. Took Ann years to figure it out. Takes everybody years to figure it out. That's why most people don't become an overnight success until about year 10. And then everybody's like, oh, you're an overnight success. It just takes time. So I believe the 3 things that people need to succeed is the actual course, the information, right? The knowledge, the foundation behind what you're doing. And then I believe you need coaching to where you're never left trying to figure it out. So if you have a question, it's like, hey, I got a question. I don't know how to have a proof of funds. And your coach goes, just go to this website. Boom, there's your proof of funds. This is how you're going to do it. And you're like, oh, and you keep moving. And then accountability to make sure that you're doing it. Because if you don't have accountability, you feel like, it's just me, myself, and I. And if I don't do it, nothing really changes. But if you got somebody who's like, Ann, is that really the business that you want to have? Do you want to scale like that? Have you been spending time with your family? How close are you to the 100K club? Like, don't give up. You got this. If you don't have accountability and people checking on you, we just fade. 85% of people never even finish the course. That's because you buy a course. Nobody cares if you finish it but you. And you don't even care. That's why we don't finish it. And when I learned that statistic, I went back and realized I bought 5 courses and only finished 2 of them. I was like, holy crap, I'm that person. I didn't finish 3 of them. And it's like, it just, if you really look at it, you have to have the right pieces in place to succeed. Okay. And so your first 100K program, Anne has stepped in this year to actually be coaching on direct to seller buy sell trade groups, where she's working every day on our group calls, or every Wednesday we have group coaching calls. Yeah, not every day, not every once a week. Every Wednesday we have every Wednesday we have a group coaching call, right? A Q&A session where it's like, ask anything you want. If you're stuck on something, let's get you lined out. Let's check. How's everything going? Are you doing what you're supposed to be doing to be moving forward towards joining that 100K club and making your 100,000 in wholesaling real estate, right? So we have courses and the training that is set up that tells you exactly what to do every single day in bite-sized pieces, 5 to 10 minutes. They're set up in an app, a custom app on your phone, so you don't have to try to remember the website to go log into. You just click the app, open it up, do the trainings and work on things in your business anytime you have a gap, right? You're sitting in the carpool lane, open up Systems U, check out the actual courses that are in there, work on your business, right? So we have the app, we have the systems and the courses in place, and then we give you a full year of scalability. So you get a year subscription in part of that package so that you don't have the monthly expense of the software. Okay, scalability is only $97 a month. But here's what I want you to understand. I want you to have success. And if you have an excuse, you will, at some point, people have a tendency to take that excuse. They take that out. They let that excuse talk them into why things aren't working. Okay, and so they have a tendency to, I have $200 a month that I'm paying for software and I don't even know how to use it. And so instead of focusing on getting deals, they convince themselves they don't need the software and they cancel it because it's costing $200 a month. Now, I don't think you need to pay $200 a month. That's why ours is $97, and that's why we include a whole first year. If you do your first 100K with us in this program, we include the whole year of scalability. You're literally only going to pay 2 cents per text that you send, and you're going to pay $6 a month for an email address and $20 a year for your domain name. That's it. Like, you buy into your first 100K program, there is like less than $50 a month of monthly expenses to run your company. That's so you can't go, it's too expensive, I'm running out of money, and stop doing it. We've created this to where you have the systems you need. You have weekly group coaching, so you're never left trying to figure it out. We include the CRM, the software, for a whole year so that you don't have to worry about running out of money every month, and you can focus on getting deals and putting money in your bank. Right? That's what this was designed for. Okay? So inside scalability, we don't just give you a year of the software either. We actually copy our pipeline that we showed you. We copy it into your account. Automation for every single stage is done for you. We copy it into your account. So you are, from day one, it's like, boom, here's your scalability account with all the pieces that you need. We have websites already built in there that are for motivated sellers to submit their information and get a cash offer that automatically triggers automation and runs them through scalability. We've built it for you. You're literally making little changes like putting in your city and state name, your username. And I even personally go through that with you one-on-one on your onboarding call. So you still don't have to try and figure out scalability on your own. I get on with you on Zoom one-on-one as part of our program to bring you in, and I make sure everything's working. I make sure you understand it all. I make sure that you are very clear on exactly what happens when a customer flows through your business, so that all you have to do is show up and work your leads. And that way, it's the fastest way to money. We have designed the fastest way to money for you and tried to take away every excuse. I have questions. Great. We got Wednesday calls to answer your questions. And if you get stuck, like contract stuck on a Thursday, we're not making you wait till next Wednesday. You put it up in the group. Hey, I'm stuck. I got this contract's about to fall through XYZ. Ann and I both are going to be on you. Like, how do we help you get this thing going? Like, now. We don't make you wait just because it's next Wednesday. We're on your team to help you win. The goal here of your first 100K is to get you to your first 100K as quickly as humanly possible with as little monthly expenses as humanly possible. And so training built into a cool custom app, the actual accountability inside the group where you post what you got going on, your deals. We already have people posting checks of deals in there, and we're just getting started. And then our weekly calls so you can ask your questions and get them answered. We've already shown you the pipeline. We've already shown you the automation and everything else. So there's two ways that you can work with us. One, you can just sign up for scalability. It's not the whole your first 100K program, and you pay for the whole year, and we give you those systems and automation, right? So you'll have the pipeline, you'll have the automation to where you know what's happening throughout the whole thing. It has the website templates. It is the scalability account we give inside your first 100K. And you get that by signing up from paying for the whole year, $997 just for the year. If you go to yourfirst100kchallenge.com/let's go, you can just sign up for a year of scalability. It's $997, and we'll push that all the automation, everything into your account. We've got website templates in there to where you can have a seller website up and running. The forms are done. You can be up and running in like an hour. Okay, everything's pushed into your account. And then I will still get on the phone with you and make sure it's all up and running properly. So you get an onboarding call with me, making sure. That is the challenge only offer that gets you all of our systems just pushed into your account. If you want to join your first 100K, shoot me a message on Facebook. I want action takers, and I want to talk to you because I want to make sure I answer your questions for you. I am not here just to pitch, just to sell, just to take your money. I want you comfortable with it. Okay, so either way, but if you're ready to go on scalability and you want to take advantage of all the systems being pushed into your account, go to, it's scrolling across the bottom now, yourfirst100kchallenge.com/let's go. Don't put the www dot on it, just that. Okay. And if you want
Paula,
to,
that is the website that you posted. My Facebook won't let me comment.
okay,
Sorry.
No problem. Let me make sure I got your questions because I see your
every time that I go to answer people's questions and pop my volume on and I'm like, oh, can everybody hear that?
Yeah. I want to make sure I'm not ignoring too, because I was telling you guys about stuff, but I don't want to ignore your questions.
I got you covered. It's all good. I've been watching.
So somebody said, is scalability something Aaron created? I launched scalability about 6 months ago. Yes, it is my software. After 4.5 years of teaching people and working one-on-one with real estate investors, I was pissed off with the CRM space. Honestly, I'm tired of investors spending $399 a month on Mojo and $297 a month on a CRM, and then $100 a month on websites, to piece together all of these different things. And then you've got 3 or 4 different logins to 3 or 4 different software. And every time they bring in a virtual assistant, they can't figure out how to make everything work and see who's doing what. And I was like, this is ridiculous. And I was a victim of it myself. My first year, I was spending $800 a month on software, and I never really learned how to use most of it. And it was when I started one-on-one coaching people, I'm like, get rid of that. You don't know how to use it, so stop paying for it. Let's do
Podio.
this.
Podio.
Yeah. Dan was a Podio fan.
No, I hated Podio. Dude, I got this thick of a packet from somebody, and I'm like, you're expecting me to read all that? I even had a virtual assistant show me how to use it. And I still couldn't get it. Then you had to do, like he said, you had to get off their softwares to connect what you needed, like your email. You use Zapier or something like this, and that's a whole
integrating a bunch of other stuff. So on average, if somebody signs up with scalability, you'll get rid of at least 3 other softwares. Mm-hmm. So on average, John Krause himself saved over $700 a month switching to scalability. And it was easier for him to understand and catch on and start using than the stuff he was using before. And now he's plugging all of his loan officers through the same program. So the software itself, I designed it and brought it into existence, if you will, because of what real estate investors were going through. It drove me nuts. I hate having multiple logins. I hated the idea of courses because I've bought a bunch of courses and I can never remember the website to go log in to do my course. And so that's why we built it into an app. Like we have a custom app on the phone, which actually goes through scalability. All of our courses are built in scalability. The app is a custom scalability tool that drops on your phone. Like I drink my Kool-Aid. Like we only use scalability now. I got rid of 4 other software. I got rid of 4 different softwares by just switching to my own software, scalability. I'm like, this is awesome. You can do full website builds. You can have as many team members as you want. We do not punish you for growing. If you add 5 virtual assistants, your price doesn't go up. It's $97. If you're in your first 100K program or you pay for the year and you get the package for the challenge special, then it's like you are getting that, period. Your price doesn't go up because you brought in team members or because you have another pipeline or another website. You can literally grow.
I literally have a team. I have a back end gal that I hired, and she's transaction coordinator for me. So I added her. I was like checking on it. I'm like, no, it didn't go up. Same thing with I actually have my course. I think he'll go in that a little bit. I have my course that I have built in there. I even have some other pipelines in there myself and the opportunities. So, yep, it's all truth. Aaron's a real deal there, guys.
So let's see here. I want to see if I can actually show this to you because I don't know if I can show you I don't even know where to log in because I do everything from the inside. Let me see if I can pull this up. I'm going to show it to you inside scalability.
And also, like, not just your course, your course will also be an app. Your actual scalability is an app as well.
Yep. So with scalability itself, I think I've told you guys this. For me, can I do it from anywhere? Like if God says go, can I pick up and go and still make money from anywhere? So scalability being my full-blown CRM, my websites, my courses, everything is built inside scalability. Then can I use it from my cell phone? Because I like to go hiking. I like to go biking. I like to hang out with my family. I'm doing disaster relief stuff. We travel all the time. I like to pull out my computer to do work. I do it, right? But I don't like to pull out my computer every time I need to do work. I like to pull out my cell phone. So literally, if somebody calls my scalability number, it routes to my cell phone, but it logs the call, the time, date, and stamp time and the date that this person called. It logs it in scalability because it's still not coming through my cell phone to my cell phone number. It still gets logged on the contact inside scalability. So everything happens through there. If I want to send a text message, I pull out my cell phone, and instead of opening the text, I open my app for scalability, and I text people, and it timestamps it, and it logs it under their contact. So I can always tell a running list of I emailed them, they emailed me back. I texted, they text me back. I had an outgoing call, incoming call, and it's all in one place. So I can always track it from my cell phone.
And easy to use. It's not difficult. Yeah. I've been using it. So I love it because I'm able to, if my transaction coordinator is like, hey, I need you to check this, and I'm not at home for my laptop, I'm like, ooh, yes. Okay, I'll check it. I'll check it right now. So.
Yep. And so this right here is inside scalability on the actual courses that we have in your first 100K program. Okay. So inside your first 100K, we give you a fast scalability course, which is basically like to streamline getting your scalability up and running, which if you're signing up today or through this weekend with your first 100K or the special offer for just the whole year and everything, you're going to get a call with me where I'm personally going to do it with you. Okay. So I'm kind of going to boost that up for the challenge. You sign up to the challenge, you're getting one-on-one with me, and I'm going to make sure you have everything set up and running so that you don't have any questions. Okay. Whether you join your first 100K or whether you just take advantage of the year, either one, you get that as a bonus. Inside your first 100K, these are the courses that we give you. And so if I take a look right here real quick on, say, this Ann's course here on Facebook leads, right?
Oh, you popped out.
Yeah, I know. It's not jumping between. I'm going to share my entire screen so that you guys see this crazy depth here. And that way I can jump between tabs and it'll actually make sense.
Eternity thing there.
Yeah, an eternity thing creates that loop. So you guys can see my whole screen now. So this is Anne's course, the training, the foundation part of what is delivered for creating motivated seller leads for free through buy, sell, trade groups. And if we scroll through here, you'll see that she's got right here on the side, it says 36 lessons. And here it's literally your next 30 days.
Yeah.
She says day 1. If we click and open it up, she's got a video telling you what to do. You see the next day 2, day 3 here on the side. Right underneath, she tells you what to do in text. And then if there's any downloads, we have downloads and everything that come through here. Now, if I jump back to your first 100K, the wholesaling part-time, this is the same thing. It's another course we have that specifically that I did that gets you fastest way to money by JVing with other investors. So this is how to find free leads on Facebook by leveraging other people's Facebook groups. You see there's 27 lessons, and here it literally walks you through defining and designing your business, building your foundation, you personally and your company, creating your company culture, unflinching focus, and then company setup, daily operations. Like we have everything step by step to show you this is how you're going to set up your business and run it. And these are the courses that are in Systems U, the app on your phone. Okay. And then we have a bonus. I'm involved with the King's Council, so it's a big deal to me to pass along value that I can. Riley Meek has done over $100 million across his companies over the past 10 years. And he has a course called the DNA Blueprint, which is like God's design for entrepreneurship, the biblical mandate for entrepreneurship. And he has given us his course so that I could give it to you if you sign up to work with us on your first 100K. So you also get his course in here where it's talking about vitals, have to be, mission, purpose, personal contract, basically like the DNA blueprint for God's design for entrepreneurship. Now, if you're not a God person, that's fine. I'm not pushing my values on you. I'm just letting you know it's there. Okay. If you have, let me get this off here because that crazy funnel thing is driving me nuts now. If I just want you to know, like, it's the bonuses, right? We've got Anne's course that tells you how to get motivated seller leads. We have my course that gives you exactly how to do JV partnerships and get those leads and those deals. We've got Riley's course is like gets you set up on the biblical foundation for entrepreneurship, right? I'm also going to physically mail you a copy of his book, which I actually have one here. Because I'm just like, what else can I give people that sign up? So this is the Kingdom Entrepreneur the 7-Day Blueprint. It's an Amazon bestseller. I'll physically mail it to you for the people that sign up. I'm trying to think of like all the cool stuff I'm throwing in here. Does anybody have questions on what else would be in that maybe I didn't talk about yet? Or Anne, can you think of anything?
I think. I mean, I'm going to tell you guys. So, I'm going to rub it in. I'm going to rub it in. You guys are getting like the real deal, the scalability. Especially my course is not each video straight to the point. They're not very long and they teach you something to do. But I will tell you about scalability. When I started, I was the guinea pig. So, no, I'm just joking. But you guys are getting a lot more. I mean, for him to build all this stuff, you would never get that in any other kind of CRM. Podio, all that stuff. It's not the same thing. They give you a bunch of videos, or I guess, videos and paperwork to go put that in there. And what he's giving you in that stuff is going to set you up for success, literally. Him and we had to kind of build my stuff because the way I do my processes and stuff is a little different. It's about the same thing, but you guys are
Anne's jealous is what she's saying.
I'm just like, what? I'm like hearing this all like, what? Let's see a screenshot. I'm like, come on.
Anne just sent me a message, a personal message outside of here. I am very like, forward, honest. I like to have fun and get to know some people, right? I show you guys this book. Ann sends me a message. She goes, "Where's my book?"
Oh
I
my
will
god.
send you a book too, Ann.
Thanks. I appreciate it. I'll have to give you my mailing address though.
Yep, I got it.
Oh my
But it's
goodness.
like, guys, when Ann got started a couple of years ago now, I think, right? Like, we didn't have scalability. We didn't have any of these courses and programs. This is the stuff that has developed over even just the 2 years that she's been here. And if you just go to scalability and sign up regularly, it's $97 a month with a 14-day free trial, or 14-day free trial and $997 for the year. So you get 2 months free by paying for the whole year. But like she said, it's an empty account, right? You have to build your pipeline. You have to build your automation. You have to build your websites. You have to build your forms, and you have to connect it all and make it all work. I have a community for fast scalability where if you just signed up, you can learn. I go in there and I teach every week on how to build stuff. We have tons of training videos. But just like you can learn for free on YouTube, it's just going to take you more time, right? So what's the fastest way to money? If you sign up for the whole year today, you skip the 14-day free trial and you take the whole year for the $997, we give you the pipeline, the automations, the forms, the website, and I get on the phone live with you and I show you how to make it all work so that you know now, right? So by like next week, you know how your system works and it's all in place. Years of building stuff pushed into your account for free as a bonus just for signing up today, because $997 is the normal yearly price with none of this stuff in there, right? So like understand like the value is because I want you to take action here. I want to reward you for giving me the last 5 days of your time, right? I want to make sure that I'm valuing what you've given me. Now for your first 100K program, I realize we haven't told anybody what that costs or anything. So like your first 100K program is designed to get you to your first 100K, right? It's software for the year. It's all the systems and automation pushed into your account. It's the book. It's the courses all built into the app so that it's easy to get to, right? It's the actual weekly group coaching calls so that you have accountability and you can get all your questions answered and everything with Ann and I, both of us. So you have access to both of us to make sure we build that out and make sure that we're getting your questions answered. All of that, it's designed to get you to your first 100K so that I can send you that custom bottle. You don't have to apply for the award. When you get your first 100K, there's no extra costs or no extra nothing. I just have you prove that you made your 100K. And then I pay for it out of my pocket and I send you that bottle with your name on it. All of that, it's designed to get you to your first 100K. In other words, we're committing to helping you get to $100,000 of profit. What would that be worth paying to invest to get that? A lot of people are charging 10 grand and more for these little coaching programs, and they don't have all the different courses and the custom app for you. It's always like, here's a course, good luck. And now we have weekly group coaching calls, and they talk about everything under the sun. With our weekly coaching calls, it is very specific with our methods. So if you want to talk about cold calling 5,000 people at a time with a dialer, we won't even talk about it on our weekly calls because it's not what we teach people. It's not your fastest way to your first 100,000. It's a distraction that costs you a bunch of money. So I'm not going to waste everybody else's time in the group listening to me try to help you with that. We're going to keep you focused.
It sucks.
And it sucks.
I have tried it. I'm not joking.
Oh, yeah.
People will be screaming at you on the phone, hanging up on you, saying naughty words.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But so our goal is to get you to that 100K using our systems, the ones that you're paying for and being a part of, right? So I bring the coaching in, Ann brings the coaching in. We keep you focused. We're like, here's how you're going to get it done. And we keep you moving towards that. The whole thing, $3,500. It's like we've made it $3,500. You get the weekly coaching, you get a year of scalability, and then you get all of the systems pushed into your account. You get access to the courses and everything. Like I said, I'm not going to bait and switch you or anything else. If you want to join that, shoot me a message on Messenger. That way we can connect because I'm sure you still have a question or two. It's a lot to take in, right? Shoot me a message on Messenger so that we can get you set up and into your first 100K. If you're like, I don't have $3,500, but I love scalability, I want to do that because I need this, then like go to that link scrolling across the bottom. You can sign up. It'll immediately set up your account and we'll immediately start pushing that stuff into your account. And then I'll be reaching out to book and onboarding with you next week. That is all I have for you. And luckily, because my voice is like giving out, I am about done talking for the week.
I was going to say that, the 3,500 is not a lot considering what a lot of the courses are out there that you get charged for. I mean,
so my own coaches are telling me that I'm ridiculous. They're like, Aaron, that's a $7,500 program. Aaron, you shouldn't be charging $97 a month for that software. Like, you should have tiers for like $297 and $197. I'm like, nah, screw it. They get everything for $97, period. I'm like, I'm going to ignore my coaches on this one and keep the pricing where I have it. But who knows? Maybe over the years it'll start to like raise. But this is our focus. This is our goal. I believe you need the foundation, the courses, the knowledge. I believe you need the accountability and the coaching so that you're never left trying to figure it out on your own. We've put it all together in your first 100K for you. So if you want to join your first 100K, shoot me a message on Messenger. We'll get you hooked up and get you ready to go. So we're onboarding you next week, or go to yourfirst100kchallenge.com/let's go. And you can sign up for the year of scalability and take advantage of the automations, everything all being pushed into your account and ready to go. And then we'll schedule an onboarding next week. As for that, we are done.
Yay.
I'm not going to keep you going here. I want to like make sure I get you off and started on your days. And a reminder, catch the replays this weekend, because Monday morning I am going to delete it all and you'll be out unless you have the VIP access. If you want these recordings and you want to keep them forever, you can still go in and grab the VIP access. And then within 10 days of us completing the challenge, you'll get access to the recordings. And that way you can just have these recordings. So if you're like, hey, that was enough for me, I'll just take those. They're $47. Go grab the recordings, if nothing else, so that you can jump back and review and implement. So right now, it's time for you to take action. Pick and join, get into our program, get to know us. Let's work together. Let's make you 100K this year. Or take what you've learned this week and implement it, put it to work, and like, tell us how it works. Shoot me a message next week or whenever you start landing some deals and making some money on your own. But man, time is something you can never get back. So I appreciate your time this week. Thank you so much for giving me your time. I hope it was valuable and worth it. And thank you for joining me this week.
Yeah. Had fun.
All right. Everybody have a good one. We will talk to you later.